Hey guys, welcome back to Theology Thursdays, where we answer your
What's
questions
up?
on God, faith, and culture. Yes, we are we're pumped, I think. This is our second week back into it and feels good. Feels good. I mean,
It
we've
does
missed
feel
it,
good.
right? Absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
because we're jumping back into things and we've been on a hiatus for that short bit, we thought, I feel like it's pretty easy for us to forget some basic things about like what we're doing and what we study and all of that. And so we thought really jumping into what is theology, what does it mean, and like why should you as a student, why should you care about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about this briefly in the first video that we ever made. I don't know what episode we're on, but I'm gonna count after
A
this.
long time ago.
Yes, but we thought let's go ahead and rehash that and look at it again. So as we continue to make videos after this, and even as y'all ask questions, you can be like, okay, like, so what does God say about this, and what does it even mean to be studying theology?
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
Dana, why don't you
Yeah.
tell them? We've left them on a
Yeah.
cliffhanger. What is theology? So like, let's answer it.
Yeah. And I mean, I remember being a student and hearing that word and just thinking, I don't even know what that means or
Yeah.
why I should care about it. And I actually, the first time I heard the word theology was walking into a pastor's office and seeing his diploma that said that he had gotten a bachelor's in theology. And I remember walking in, and as a student, I was like, that's not, as a student, that's not for me, right? I
Right.
have to be a pastor or
Hmm.
a scholar to care about theology. So that
Right.
was my first interaction. But this conversation, obviously, we do want to talk about why it should matter to everyone.
Exactly. So
So
it does
Sarah,
matter what we're saying, but
it does matter, and
yes.
you as a student should care deeply about theology. So anyway, these videos are called Theology Thursday, so hopefully this will help you have a better understanding of what that means. So Sarah, if I was to ask you, what does the word theology literally mean?
Hmm.
Have you ever heard a definition of anyone that is used
I mean, I
um,
know
to
like the
describe?
ology because ology is
Yeah,
like study of, because
of
that's why you do like biology and
biology, yeah, at
I don't know
school and all
why
that.
sociology. I was like biology is the only one I can think of right now. But yes, the
Yeah,
theology part. So I
yeah.
assume, yeah.
So the study of, so the word, it is two different words put together. So ology, the study of, the science of, and then
Hmm.
the theos, which comes from a Greek word that means God. So basically,
Hmm.
the word theology literally means the study, the science of God.
Sweet.
And
Super
so there's been
straightforward, and I love it.
super
Yeah.
straightforward. And there's actually been a lot of people and students who, when they think about theology, they do ask the questions, why should I care about it? I'm not a pastor, I'm not a professional. Why should don't I just need to follow Jesus?
Hmm.
Right? That's all I need. I just need Jesus. But I think that statement is very ironic, because when you say that, then you have to ask the question, what is it about Jesus that you need? Right? What is
Hmm.
it about Jesus that you need to be into that you need? And I think we can begin to talk about different aspects of Jesus. So his how he is the Lord of our lives if we follow him, right? How he saves us and how he took our place on the cross and he took on God's wrath, so that we would be forgiven. When we begin to say things about Jesus or God in general, we're already doing theology, right? We're already saying things about God, and we're already doing theology. So it's sort of an ironic statement. And hopefully, I mean, we say things about God and Jesus that are true, that we see obviously in the Bible. So I actually heard this explained this way. So take, for example, my wife, Jane, right? If someone was to say, "Hey,
Love her.
I yeah, definitely love her. Why do you love Jane?" Um, and you begin to ask me, how tall is she? I would just say, "Well, that doesn't really matter, right? I just love Jane.
Unimportant.
All I need is
No one needs.
unimportant." Well, what color is her hair, or what is her personality like? I'd say, well, that doesn't really matter. All I need to say is that I love Jane. That really wouldn't make much sense because I don't know anything about her. And it's the same way with God, right? We need to know things about him, say things about him, and that's doing theology. So it's sort of an ironic statement.
Yeah. And like, I mean, in the same analogy, like the more you know her, the more you love her. So like the more you
Yeah,
know God, the more you love him, you know, like because the more you
yeah,
find out, the more time you spend together, all of that, like
yeah.
it deepens that relationship, which is why 80-year-old couples are so cute.
Yeah, because
So
you get to
yeah.
know each other more
Yeah.
on a deeper level. So,
Hmm.
but along with that, you not only need to know things about God, you need to know the correct things about God,
Yes.
right? We need to know.
Absolutely.
Um, so, because if you were to say, hey, if I came to you and said, hey, I love Jane's black hair or her dark brown eyes, you'd say, well, you really don't know your wife.
Like,
Um,
have you looked at her or
yeah, have you actually met your own wife? So we, in the same way, we need to know and say things that are true and right about God. And again, we find those things in the Bible. So we need to know the right things about God. And I actually heard this quote that was super awesome by this girl named Jen Wilkin. She says, "The heart cannot love what the mind does not know." And then she goes on to say, if you want to feel deeply about God, we must know deep things about God, right? Because if you're a follower of Jesus, everyone would say, I want to be closer to God, right? I want to love him deeply. I want to be a better follower of God. And like you said, the longer we walk with him, the more we know and learn things about him, the more deeply we love him, and the better it is to align our lives with him. So I just thought that was a really, really cool quote because, again, the heart cannot love what the mind does not know. So these are two quick reasons among many why you as a student should care about theology, right? And why it matters. So we should care about what God has to say about himself, what God has to say about you, and what God has to say about just our world. And we
Yeah.
find that again in the Bible where all of theology starts. Um,
So for a student who's like, okay, cool, yeah, sure, like I should care about this. So like, where would they begin? Because
yeah,
theology is a big thing to undertake.
yeah,
So that has to be a starting point. So what do you
for sure.
suggest?
Yeah, because when you think about God, we do know that he's big, that he's majestic, right? That he's, in fact, I would probably say doing theology is sort of because of how big God is, it's sort of scratching the surface of who God is.
Hmm.
But although that's true, we also see, because of the Bible, that God also is a God that makes himself known to us, right? Makes himself known through the life and the ministry of Jesus, but he also makes his self known to us through his written word. So to start, I mean, this is a lifelong journey of
Hmm.
walking what some people would call
Like we're
theological
still
mileage.
on this, yeah. Like we're
Yeah,
not
we're
like we
still on
haven't
this.
arrived at any point that's like
No,
like
for
we're
sure.
there. No, there's still
Yeah.
so much more. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of work to be done. But the first thing I would probably suggest is either reach out to your leader or student director and just ask them for resources. There's all kinds of resources of books, videos that you can watch.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say ask your student director and your leader is because there are bad resources out there, right? There's
Yes,
good
there
and
are.
bad resources. There are bad resources who, probably are not helpful in our understanding of who God is.
Yeah.
So that'd be the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is just be okay with this lifelong process of learning, right? We have
Hmm.
to dig in and we have to be willing to just take our time, dig in, be patient, and just be okay to learn. Like we said, it's a lifelong process. And the last thing
Absolutely.
I would say is just surround yourself with people who help you grow. Obviously, that's your small group. But
Yeah.
even in high school, I found dudes who very much wanted to learn theology. And I
Hmm.
mean, we had conversations, read books together, and all that. So just surround yourselves with people who want to grow. So I mean, that would be really our hope for these videos, is that
Hmm.
we would help answer those questions, either about God, about things in our culture, but ultimately what we have to say about God and how we can follow him more faithfully.
Absolutely. And we feel like all of these are just starting. Again, they start these topics, like put, we don't give you the fullness of everything in it. And so in all of it, our hope is that it would spark something that y'all would want to run after even more. And so
For
guys,
sure.
keep digging in, keep joining
Yep.
us. Thank y'all so much for joining us today. Make sure you hit that like button, little notification bell, all the YouTube things. And guys, we will see you in a couple weeks.